Technically live before we're declaring ourselves live by about 20 minutes. But you know what? As long as we're cool like that. Don't worry, folks. We'll get going here soon enough. I would put up like a little intermission screen. I don't have shit for that build yet. We're pretty up the food court. Post that in that server. Where are other places that I can post? Not the D&D rooms. I try not to pester them. We're going to go to the tabletop in video games. Just going to self. I guess I'll post in there until somebody tells me to shut the fuck up. But you know... Oh fuck, is today dinosaur? I thought yesterday was dinosaur day. Oh fuck. Do I switch games? Oh no. I'm almost required by like personal code to switch games. Nah, it's fine. We'll do a dinosaur celebration day later. Fuck it. Okay, so I posted everywhere. It's technically early because I was gonna do 12:30 and it's about 12:15. People are already in the stream. Hello, Mossy. It's good to see you. That might happen. We may do I don't currently have an Australian section outline, but we could do that. Welcome back to the Southport Zoo. For our VOD watchers, you might be wondering, what do you mean welcome back? This was the first zoo I streamed. I forgot to set up video recording. It's perfectly fine. We're gonna rock with it. So this is our little entrance section, and there's a little garden up to about this point when I decided I'll build the rest of that later. So you come in and you get your tickets, or if you need a stroller rental or a membership, you go through the gates. And this is our entry plaza. It's very pretty. This was inspired by a couple of different zoos, specifically memories of the Audubon Zoo up in New Orleans when I visited way back in the day. It was, in particular, they have a very lovely entry row of palm trees, and then you go to the left and there's a flamingo habitat. And I was like, why don't I just do both? Because you can. You might as well. We did with, of course, with the wonderful American flamingos. Delightfully little birds. And we sunk in their little feeder enrichments to make it look more like hay is part of the natural ground. Any lower, it started changing the terrain too much, but I don't think they seem to mind in the slightest. I'm looking at this and I'm like, I could do more foliage work. There's always more foliage work. Okay, so let's look up grasses and then put in, I don't remember what biomes you need. I guess we got aquatic, tropical, grassland, and temperate. So we type in grass. And I was trying to keep it incontinent theme. So boom, bap. Let's see what options we got to spice it up a little bit. Ooh, them blue stems could be fun. Let's think of them bad boys. Damn, no. Right, I haven't landed a surface on. Don't need that for plants as much. Boom. Bap. It doesn't help with the planted look, actually. I think like if this was like just a generic habitat, maybe, but yeah, I'm not vibing with that. And we're just going to, we'll just move you off, because this is where I'm thinking we're going to start one of our first major habitats. So I'm just going to put this bad boy right over here. And we're going to get to this back section. We'll fix the foliage for these guys in a little bit. The short grass in a planted garden at least makes sense. And with the tall buffalo grass interspersed in, it doesn't look too bad. And then I don't think I ever actually showed this in last video, but we built it live. It's a little bare bones. Not quite the most accurate, but we have a little flamingo room with a fun little back room for zookeepers and things. Admittedly, this doesn't function correctly, so you have to build one of these and we'll cover it up with whatever theming we do. But this is our little area I want to start with first. This is inspired by a trip to the St. Louis Zoo where they have their red rocks. They have a big area where you can just go buy like a bunch of food and drinks and stuff. And what I'm thinking overall, well, I picked the right theme here to find the piece I'm looking for in a minute, is that when you like look it up as a map, you want this to be your central plaza. There's food here, the pathway, restroom, gift shop here. And then you go to the various little habitats and the themed areas. And then what I haven't done, but I may do, because we'll see how it goes when we start building this one over here. But I may build like a little farmyard for a couple episodes. That would be fun. At least get a plan going. Okay, that's facilities. Construction. So one of the tricks I learned from watching people online too much play Planet Zoo. Not Zoo Tycoon. That's a different game. Okay, so Let's see. That is strange, because that shouldn't be behaving like that. But it's Planet Zoo, you know. There's a first time for everything. There you go. Now you're behaving how I'm wanting you to. And then you do this, and this just makes the buildings pop a little more. Now you might be wondering, hey, that's some very horrible visual glitching. And you're absolutely right. We'll fix it here in a second. Boom, bop, bam, bing. And that's probably good enough. If I need to fix it, I need to fix it. And then we just rotate the walls. That usually works. Well, maybe if I do this... No, because that... There we go. Sometimes it's just you gotta get the pieces fitting together right. And then you just... And see what this does? It helps break up just the straight wall pattern a little bit, giving the building a bit of a skirt. Now you could do this with like plaster, I guess, to make it a little more realistic. But, you know, you make do with what you get sometimes. I don't want the vertical planks, I want the floor. We'll do that, because there's that little... I had some funky fights with this terrain stuff. But it's fine. You can't make everything perfect. Sometimes you just have to replace the wall piece. Because it doesn't acknowledge that there's a thing there. There we go. The game does not like that happening, that's for sure. Let's see if we can't... I don't do the floor pieces too often when I do mostly shell buildings. So this was kind of an experiment. Let's see if we can't get... There you go. Nope, you're still not happy. There you go. See, and like just that makes it feel a little bit more like, oh, this is a building you walk up to. Thank you, yeah. So we got it working. It seems to be going well. I'm happy with it. But yeah, it's one of those, sometimes you gotta have the patience to fix these things and it can be aggravating. Now, what I'm thinking for the side mural here is that when we get more animals, we go ahead and put up more of those flat signs just to be like, oh, hey, here's some of the animals you can see in the zoo. But right now, we don't have any. We have a lot of circular dirt paths. And some of the worst written things I've done. My original plan was we were going to start over here, because I was going to do, like, here's a couple of Malaysian animals, and you, like, walk through a temple and can see into the temple, and you pop out in the like an India theme section, have, like, you know, the Indian rhinoceros, and you go up in the mountains to the Himalayas, back to this main center. We have, like, a little, I want to do an exhibit over here that's got, like, a Japanese garden, but also tie in red crowned cranes and Japanese macaques, because both of those have good enrichment together. And if there's one thing I'm a sucker for, it's building a habitat or an area and being like, oh, these two can work, But there's a chance there's also an India pack coming out. So we're going to put this one to the side for a bit. And I'm thinking, so I had some plans, and I didn't pull them out. Oopsies, let me go get them real quick. Okay, hold on, I'm back. Sorry about that. Thought I had my list with me, and I did not. Probably could have left you on a more fun visual element than just hanging above the zoo, too. So we're just gonna put it over here while I talk a little bit. But I had a couple of different areas planned. I wanted to do kind of like highlighting, instead of just like, oh, hey, this is Asia, we highlight kind of like more distinct geographical regions like Japan, the Himalayas, Malaysia, and the Indonesian islands, etc. But also like doing like specifically going by that into that theme, like nation by nation. So have a Pantanal section themed off of southern Brazil specifically, and like a Yellowstone North American section. And then, like, I have I've been bouncing around what I should do for Africa, because there's a lot of good African animals, and I've determined this is where they're gonna go. But it's like, do I do, like, a Congo, or there's, like, a rainforest theme to it, or do I do, like, another wetlands one with the Okavango Delta, so you could get some hippos in, and some giraffes, and get that mixture of, like, harsh desert mixed in with that bright green, lush landscape that exists simultaneously. But I'm thinking we're going to turn this section here today into the Pantanal. I had a little poll I posted on Tumblr because I couldn't figure out my other social medias and what was going on with them. But I'm thinking, like, we do a little, like, we'll call it, like, on the river or something, or we'll come up with a fun little name, put a little statue here, and then we'll just weave our way around the river bends and have just some really fun animals built for that. And build some, like, visitor sections and things. We can the paths were just, I chose paths so I could differentiate sections at a glance. What we'll probably do is switch it out to one of the more rustic wood ones. And then what we'll do is we'll clear them out, drop the landscape around them, and build, like, bridges as you would see, like, how they have the raised houses on the Pantanal. I think that would be sick. I don't know about you guys. And I'm also so excited for this new pack, but it's also like, is it a rainforest pack? Is it a, like, tropical Africa pack? Is it an India pack? No one knows. And that makes that hard to plan ahead for. So we're going to do South America because it's probably not South America. Let's see, I didn't see the results of that poll. I probably should have checked that. So let's take a look at what that poll's saying. There wasn't a whole lot of people because I have a very small social media footprint at this current point in time. It's by choice. Oh, that's fun. It's tied between the Floating Gardens of Brazil and an Okavango theme. So we're just going to go with the Pantanal, because why not? Okay, so some of the animals, any continent, we're going to go South America. We're going to go tropical, aquatic, because there's not a wetland per se, and maybe a little grassland. So I'm going to probably try to avoid for the time being the domestics because we're potentially building a farm in the future. So animals we could do are like the Amazonian giant centipede. Love that boy. Barrett's tapir feels like an almost automatic inclusion. It'd be fun to incorporate the bush dogs in as well. Like looking at their natural habitats, their grasslands, I don't know if they're necessarily in the Okavango, not the Okavango, that's Africa, the Pantanal, but we can go do it real quick. Do bush dogs live in the Pantanal? They are found in the Pantanal. Excellent. Capybaras are a shoe-in. I want to do one of the caimans. Curvier's dwarf is just a lovely boy, because look at that face. You can't go wrong with that face. He's adorable. He's baby. He's just a cute, sweet cutie pie who just wants to bite a finger off or two. You can give him a finger or two, right? Definitely giant otters. I do want to do giant otters. They're like the weirdest of the otters, but they're also my favorites. I love them. They can stay. We probably won't do Great Array since they're not directly Pantanal. Because it's like it's a personal pet peeve of mine. Okay, so let's look up the Wikipedia article because it's just faster at this rate. We don't have marsh deer in the game, though those are one of the rarest locals. Giant river otter, key in for that. We don't have, like, it's looking out here, it's like crowned eagle and hyacinth macaw. We don't have birds. Maned wolf apparently is found here. The bush dog. South American tapir, which we're going to use Barrett's as a stand-in because it's the tapir we have. And it's a common thing. Giant anteaters are there. Common species include the capybara, ocelot, and the Yacare caiman. We don't have the Yacare caiman, but we have the spectacle caiman. And jaguars have the healthiest population, so it makes sense to have a jaguar. Yellow anacondas are also found here, so we may just slide in a yellow anaconda. We might do a small little reptile house. A reptile house would be fine. I don't know about you guys. Well, hi, Slikos. I didn't know there was an affiliate push. I hadn't been checking didn't check the Discord. I was just vibing. We're plotting out a Pantanal themed area. And what I'm thinking, here, we'll get the terrain tool so we can do some painting, because if you don't plot things out roughly, then it becomes a problem. I have learned this. This is the tip I need to remember. So I'm thinking this section here in the rock work is going to be like the little village section. So, the most buildings of the region stylize after them, because there's some really fun colors. The Houston Zoo has a really good one I'm probably going to ape off a bit. We'll make our village residence here, and then we'll probably dip this whole intersection here down. You know, make this visible. And we'll put, like, we'll make a grass path here for staff buildings and staff entrance. We'll make that a little bigger because it's not standing out so much from the sand. Make this like where the staff buildings are for the habitats. And then over here, what we'll do, I don't know if it's big enough. We'll find out, I suppose. Bring that back down to a 2. O T T E R. I'll make that the otter. And like, I feel like they don't get enough love in these kinds of exhibits, so we're gonna put the caimans here. We'll probably go spectacled for this size, because they are some of the most ubiquitous reptiles around in South America, if I remember right. And then it makes sense almost to have the reptile house in this section, whereas like you go through the path and then you're out on the jetty and you immediately see El Camans. And then I think we do this here. And we'll make this, since it's we'll make this a little higher terrain, so it fits a little better. And we will do we want 2, right? Because 1 doesn't really do, or 3. Wolf. And then we'll put the soil light on this side, maybe. Okay, come on, mouse. Don't be stupid. Apologies. Small technical difficulties. And we'll make this section, give it a good little coloring in. And we're just going to call it Bush for Bush Dogs. And then I feel like it's almost required. Here, we'll just go this. I could do snow, but it's just going to. But that works. I'm not concerned about it because it'll melt as soon as I stop applying it. And here will be jaguars. And then I think this section over here, which will tie into it, will make tapirs and giant anteaters. Because I feel like that's a fun combo, you know what I mean? Giant. Just enough so I can read it. Schnoz. Yeah. And that way you get the full experience there. All those animals get some highlights. Yeah, I kind of like that. What do you guys think? Cool. I'm going to take that as a yes. Pantanal architecture, because I need some... Okay, so I'm mostly getting a mixture of old school terracotta buildings mixed in with things that have rain that are built up on stilts, I think. Okay. So it seems like buildings are overall fairly simple constructions with just some vibrant colors, but they're all built raised up. So I think that's something we're going to have to do, which means here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a screenshot of this because we're going to have to do all that terrain modification. And I don't want to forget none of it. Okay, I got a screenshot shaved. I don't know why I said that like that, but you know what? It's a Sunday. And I'm just going to post it over here. Eventually, one of my goals for streaming is that I want to get a good like overlay, just something where I can not have to be checking back and forth so much, but also just looks good for you guys. We'll find out. We're gonna figure some stuff out. Okay, so delete path. Now this might seem counterintuitive, but it's also, you can't really transform the paths once you've placed them. Okay, mouse. So what I think we need to do, let's see what wood textures. We're going to select grid. No, we don't want to replace, we want to align to grid. And we're just going to build a rough square footage area for now. Actually, we're going to put those a couple back. Because the goal is that the city area is not going to be quote-unquote floating as much as it is just looks like it's floating. You know, saves you the construction costs and things. we just gotta find a set of paths that look like they're gonna be fun. So we're just doing the parquets now just to block it out. Though I think I will. This is gonna seem a little bizarre. Okay, so that gives us, you know, some room to do building stuff for the reptile house over here. And we'll do some foliage planting and some build up so you don't see it just stand out. But it's like, hey, here's, you know, we might put a couple of visitor stands. We might put, you know, make it just like kind of a little plaza. Because your goal is that you come in and out of here through the paths. And we're going to just build this corner out just so it's more of a, hey, this is where you come in. Boom. Now, these terrain stamp tools are a godsend. Because you can go, okay, I want to make sure that we have a section this big, and it's going to be this deep for like here, and then you can come over next to it and be like, but I also want to have a section that's this deep here. And then your game goes, cool, awesome sauce. And then you can go with your flattened foundation and be like, so like that is when you are going to be on the path, how deep the caiman habitat is going to be. But when you go down and do this to about here, you can go, this is where the water's going to be for the caimans. And we'll narrow, what we will do is keeping it to this level, we'll make it a little wider. Because you want to give the illusion that you are on a floating path, because you will be for at least a chunk of this adventure. And you go this way, back to over here. Now the question is, will Planet Zoo's pathing versus terrain changes cooperate? As we do not need the path to be that wide. We're looking for like a good I'll do a length of 1. And this should help give us the entrance and the pathing along for good viewership, along with the illusion that these are all connected. Because in a sense... Oh, no, I don't want that. Oopsies. Because in the technical sense of it, they are going to be connected by water. One of the hardest tools in Planet Zoo to use. And there we go. See, that'll give, I guess, that. And I actually, this is going to sound bad, but we're going to make that path a little wider. But that's why we do it live. It's fine. Yeah, there we go. My thought process is with widening this path, we can go and make better traveling paths for large crowds of visitors, especially while we don't have much else beyond the flamingos to keep them distracted. Now, admittedly, we have a 2-star zoo, and we've only got American flamingos going on right now. I think that's pretty good in my eyes, but, you know, other people might be a little upsetty spaghetti. Like, there's a reason we're not a 5-star zoo. But apparently, our guests love it. Guest happiness ratings are all top. Guest education's great. The animal ratings 2.5 stars. There's no marketing yet. We'll get marketing later. But let's see. Bada bing, bada boom. Enter the room. Okay, okay. Oh, whoa. What the fuck? Oh, there just went all that progress. What the hell? Did something stick? It would be like this is the time my mouse dies, you know what I mean? But oh, it could be one of I might have been pressing one of the side mouse buttons. That would do it. Well, fair enough, I suppose. So I guess I will ask you viewers, of animals found in the Pantanal or South America to a slightly greater degree, are there any in particular you wish you could see? Ooh, that rhymed. I didn't mean that to rhyme, but you know what? We'll take it. Because right now I am going to paint all of this in soil light for the caimans, just so I can differentiate it from other habitats. I think what we'll do is we'll put rocks underneath it so that this will all be one water level, potentially. Do I need to raise... If we're going to do that, then I need to raise this bed a bit. Because we talked... Okay, so here, let's test it. I think that is too high for all of it. Making this here, this... If I do this high, which would give the water under the bridge feeling like we've been wanting. Give some deep dive. So here comes a good question, if anyone's still watching, because I haven't paid it. I don't have it up in Twitch to see if anyone's still watching. Do you think it would be interesting to try to work with this above water view for getting oh, what's the word? How would I word this? Would it make sense to view animals without an underwater view in this kind of a habitat? Because usually, like when you get to like the Amazon River, you see all those like underwater panel viewing. But for this, we're kind of like trying to recreate the Pantanal. I do not know how to get rid of those land giblets. Here. Because it would be really cool to try to get like all the water connected, you know what I mean? Have that like, hey, this is where like the bush dogs swim. That's the wrong button. Whoopsie doopsies. I'm getting probably way more complicated than we need to for this, but you know what? Oh, I'm on remove water, that would be why. What do you mean obstructed? Okay, I guess we try the Control Z till the lamp. Undoing it so I can figure out where the land giblets are supposed to go. Ooh, that whole section of terrain went weird. That'd be why. Ooh. Here, let's... Sometimes the pathing gets weird and you gotta just run with it, you know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta fix that shit. Okay, so we'll do deep diving for the caimans here. I think this needs to be flattened to terrace. So this is valid. But okie dokie, so we got that going. We should probably figure out a staff path. Because what I want, because the goal would be we're going to have like, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 species in the Pantanal. So if we might as well just go ahead and put in, like, you know, one of our own good old boys. I just see how that goes. Get it going, getting it going. So you want to make sure, like, you get all all of your animals covered and all your staff covered. Because what are your staff in this situation? But just another thing to make sure they're not going cuckoo for coconuts. So what we're going to do is we're going to build a keeper hut large. We're going to try to build it like... We'll fix the terrain a little bit up here in a second anyway. So let's... No, I don't want paths, I want a terrain. Flatten that out a little bit. What we're going to do is we'll get that keeper hut large put in here. And then we're going to go to barriers. And here we get that, you know, like, oh, hey, this is the Pantanal. This is where the wild stuff grows. It's not really that much deeper. But it'll have, like, you know, here's where, like, the otters can go. And we may build a restaurant here. Because I think that would be fun. Like, you know, oh, you get to, like, watch over the otters while you eat. Let's actually see what we need to get that going. Now, if we're clever with it, we can stick it right about here. We're going to pause the game. So this area is going to have 2 keeper houses. There's going to be a keeper house here for the majority of this habitat. But we're also going to have a keeper house here that will dossy up. That'll help just balance that out, I think. Okay, so we need to get some restaurant tables. Theme. Do we have a South America? We do. We are stuck to the limitations of the game, but this is fine. We're just building the Southport Zoo. We're getting some South America bins. I'm placing them. Well, if I can... Okay. So we can get them just a little closer. That would be like awesome. Like how close can I get? See, there we go. Gotta cheese it a little bit, you know? Play with the system. And I may still replace the pathing, but it's like I'd like to get like a little... Okay, so that didn't work. Let's see if we can link the tables now. Oh, these are picnic benches. They're not tables. Actually, here, you know what? Here, undo. We're going to select... Actually, yeah, I don't know why these are doing what they're doing. So we're just going to delete those. Nope. I will probably report it as a patch note. We will see what we can do later about that. Restaurant tables. I had picnic benches. Okay, that's where it was. I wish there was, like, you could put the picnic benches. Because at least I can put, like, a canopy, the appropriate themed canopy on with these boys. And be like, yeah. I have caps lock on. Pantanal Plaza dining. Now to make it not look like it's just a floating building. Okay, so construction. So going back to the images I'm looking at here, colonial plaster walls seem to be a common theme, and just colorful, generic walls as a whole. So we're gonna go not property. We're gonna go material. I forgot. Plaster. Now I may be wondering, like, why am I doing that? You'll see. There's a bit. There's always a bit. What color should we make this, chat? We got... Oh. How about we do one that we can actually see in the sunlight? So we got yellows, oranges, blues, greens. Like, I could rock that kind of a shade of a green. What do you think, though? Do we go that green? We could do, like, a yellow... Or we could try to get, like, some custom flexi color one if we wanted to. I think we should go the yellow and save the green for, like, the reptile house. Because that would be kind of sick. Let's do that. I like that slightly darker yellow. I wish there was like a free standalone arch. See if that one doesn't work. Let's see if we can do this. Like, is it maybe something with the building? That took longer than I would have liked, but you know, it's fine. We got it going. Hello, welcome to the chat, Rolly. We're currently working on designing a restaurant for what is inevitably going to be a Pantanal-themed section, where one can view a variety of animals, including jaguars, caimans, and giant otters. But you always have to build for the people first before you really get too far in with the animals. So we're going to get rid of that. We're going to do metal. And then we're going to theme Australia. Because this is going to seem a little bizarre. But these roofs match awfully well. I was hoping they were Plexicolor. They aren't. So we'll just do it for the restaurant for now. And then we got that going there. Boom. Okay, so that's a good little restaurant there. We'll do a sign here in a bit once we get more of the building themes going around it. We're going to exit, and we're going to actually start with facilities, animal exhibits. Here's what we're going to do. We are going to delete paths here in the middle. Okay, now that we've got this going, all right, align to grid, boom, bop, bap. Deselect grid. Delete path. Okay. Okay, now I hate that because that one is crooked. If there's one thing I like, it's not crooked stuff. Okay, that's going to probably be as good enough as we're going to get for a bit, and I have to just live with that fact. So let's get crack-a-lackin'. Alright, so we're going to go with that dark green color, I think. Well, no, we want to make it a little brighter, because all the buildings I've seen were very, like, bright and inviting. And we're just going to go to the white, because I like how that looked on the other building. Okay, let's see. So actually it looks like I was mistaken with the first one and it's more shingled roof, so... Are these flexi-color? Oh, they are. Perfect. Okay, so I'm looking at these roofs in particular over at the Forsuda Rio Claros in particular. And it's looking like clay tiled roofs actually more than now that I'm looking at it. So we might which are terracotta, like a clay tile roof is this. Which is traditionally more of an Asian style. Okay, so there's a flat one. Awesome. I was worried there for a second. Do they also have... They don't have the shoehorns. They're just flat out. It's not 100%, but it's better than nothing. We'll give it a little weather vane on top just because. Apologies for being so quiet. Just been kind of vibing, and doing some decals. You know, it gives it that weathered look that, like, hey, this has been here for a bit. This is what they use when they're doing damage on... And they could do that. You can pick what's underneath it sometimes, which is nice. I've been watching some really cool folks do some really insane things with decals. It was Kingpin on YouTube who had like a faucet, and to simulate water falling out of the faucet, he took some of the moss decals and colored them the same shade of the water. And I'm like, oh, that makes it look like it's splashing down. Oh, that's really stinking clever. You know, might be wondering, like, well, why are you putting in this green ceiling on top of the reptile house? And my answer is, I don't want people to see that roof, because this roof tiling, while it's a correct architectural tool, don't necessarily match underneath to the rest of the building. And that zoomed me out from that. And I gotta fix these. Now, if we go here, so one of the things that I like to do when I'm browsing the workshop is look up fonts, because you find some good casual fonts. It's like the normal Planet Zoo ones aren't bad by any means, but they're kind of cartoony, and you're limited, and sometimes you only get, like these big 3D ones. So it's fun to like browse. So I think for this section we're gonna do we're gonna borrow Christina's classical font for a bit. And we're gonna borrow it. So we're gonna duplicate, and like Christina boggles me with how they come up with stuff. I'm assuming it's a she, but we're gonna go with they until I know other for sure. Because like this is just brackets, hundreds of brackets. But you go do. Boom. It's an R. So if you're ever like building and you're like, oh, I wish I had a better font for this, first thing you gotta do is browse the workshop. Actually, I think I want to do it. Well, no, I gotta go higher because that's. Maybe we'll go up here. Yeah, that looks better. And we'll just select this group. And advance, move, rotate, up. Boom. Duplicate. And depending on how far we get is how far we get with this reptile house. Kind of thing, like if we get through and we get the reptile house and there's still plenty of time, we'll go back to terrain editing and we'll disguise the various workshop pieces here and there. The stations here. We'll build some fake facades to decorate this whole section, and we'll make it look pretty. Then we got the rept for reptile. So I've been thinking of what we're going to put into here. Like, it's very bare bones on the inside right now. We'll pretty them up as we go along. But I want to make sure I know what I'm going to be putting in here. South American animals make the most sense. Things you could find. Like, if we can find a few that are in the Pantanal. Like, the green anaconda, the yellow anaconda, and the green iguana are almost shoe-ins. I'll put some like designs, and we'll put some stuff along the wall. We'll get some information panels going. Oh, you're free floating again, aren't you? Hold on. We don't want that. Wait, I can just... space it out for the word. House. A little backwards, but you know, it happens. I'm gonna pull that E. And I think delete it. Or I might delete it, we'll just leave it in the house. This isn't the most exciting part of it, but like, hey, you know what? We're here, we're thriving, we're vibing. What more could you ask for in this current day and age? There we go. And then we move this down just to, no, I think I did the advanced duplicate. I always do that. There we go. Reptile house. And then let's see if we can't go find a good old decal to go on the side here, just so it looks a little livelier. We'll do some foliage planting in front of it and everything. Maybe do some outlining in the archways, but I like to have, like, I'm a sucker for the signs. It's like the Cuviersdorf Kiemen could work in theory, but we don't have them. I don't know if... There we go. That makes it not stand out quite so much. What do you guys think? Good? Not good? We'll do some planting around it to make it pop a little more, like I said. I've got... I think they're in here. So we're going to take some of these nice generic signs and we're going to duplicate. Oh, that just... Okay, that was... Huh. I'm doing... Give a couple of... You know, because it just gives them some generic information signs. You know, the kind of things you'd see on displays. But I think if we actually put in some education things here, facilities, media devices and education, if we select group 113, take off aligned surface, I think if we tucked one of these in here, so while I've got folks here and I'm just vibing, we're just enjoying each other's company, I've had a bit of a dumb idea brewing. Not dumb idea per se, but you know, just I've been thinking, as people are often wont to do. If I could see through this roof piece that I built, I would be most appreciative. Usually this is why I don't do this until later, but you know. Boom. Bop. Bam. Bop. Boom. Bap. Now we're going to put some little information down here. But yeah, so a dumb idea I've been having is for the casual Thursdays, I've been looking for something. I've been caught between ideas. You know what I mean? Like, on one hand, I would absolutely love just to do more Planet Zoo and be only Planet Zoo. But there's other games I've got. You know, other things to try. I did Jurassic World Evolution 2 the other day because I figured it'd be easy to do and I've already had it installed. But I was also thinking of what if I went and found some other different style and genres of games and tried them out? Like, so I'm a big dinosaur nerd, which makes me missing as the paleontology nerd. You think I would not miss World Dinosaur Day, but here we are. Why is my phone buzzing? Hold on, let me check something real quick. Sorry, just spam. But it's like I could do like something simple too. Like I could just have a thing for Minecraft that when I come home on like Thursdays after work, I just boot it up, pop on stream, and we just do some casual building and world exploring together. You know, nothing too hard. Maybe I try to find some things I can do with other folks. I haven't really considered collaboration days because like I don't know if anyone would want to, like, I don't know how you do like a Planet Zoo collaboration, or if it would just be like you have one person building and everybody else just kind of hangs out, or. But I could also try to find some games for that. I've got a few. I picked up Phasmophobia, I picked up a few others. There's plenty of free ones out there. I just tend to be, you know, casual. Hey, this is what I'm doing. And Planet Zoo is something I've been playing so long that I was thinking, well, either I could go into video making and video editing as I build zoos, or I could try live streaming. And I'm like, well, I already have everything I need to do both. But live streaming seems much more forgiving in a sense. Like if I make mistakes, or hey, I don't start or keep to an exact schedule, it's a little more like, hey, things happen. You know, you can't always be there. But we'll see. Okay, so now that we got some basic signage and things up, I am going to move this maybe. We are going to put the amphibian extinction crisis on it, but I wanted the advanced move rotate. Because I don't want it to poke out the walls. Alright, there we go. Now let's see, what do we have? We did the amphibian extinction crisis, which was a very good topic to have. Poaching and the exotic pet trade is a very good one when it comes to reptiles, because with reptiles, you know, you have lots of that happening where the animals are literally being stolen out of the wild because people want to have an exotic frog or something. So let's find some 100%. The two that we know 100% for sure are present in the Pantanal. And I'll do some research. In into others that should be. So that's the Lesser Antilles. Yeah, we're gonna grab. Okay, so exhibit. And like the one thing that like I notice a lot, especially in the big building videos, that I would like to do more with these is build for these guys, like the little ones, because there was a long time like, oh, the boxes are clunky and we can't do as much with them. And I still think that's true. I think there's a couple of species in particular that could, such as the yellow anaconda and the. That's not how you spell iguana. That's iguana. I don't know what an iguana is, but I was trying to spell iguana. But it's like the yellow anaconda, the green iguana. It would be nice if we could get something that's in between this small box and like the giant big thing for like the butterfly gardens and, you know, the two-toed sloths and all the bats. Get something in between, so it's like, hey, you have a reptile who won't be comfortable in this, but doesn't necessarily need like a huge thing. All right, let's see. So we're gonna see what fits best for these boys. So we have a long, wide trunk there, a thin, smooth branch there, and a thin log. So we're just gonna go with a long, wide trunk because I feel like that looks like it could support the weight of the iguanas better. Then you have the long, mossy rock over here, the wide, mossy rock over here, and a smooth, mossy rock this side of the habitat. So we don't really need the smooth or the long. I think the wide gets this side pretty well. High, low, mid-height basking lamp. So we're going to go with the low. But that also makes me want to do the smooth, mossy rock so you have a cool sunbathing area for the iguanas. Then the climate we need to adjust because they like 79 to 88. So we'll do 84, and the humidity is 50 to 60, and they're at 70. So we'll do a 56. I can make it pea yellow. Interesting. We're just gonna go with natural watercolor. With it being built like this, I don't really see a need to be like, oh, we're gonna have, you know, have a side closed off. They're not like built back, and how you see in some of the terrariums where they're all built into the walls and it's one wall is glass through your box. This is pretty open in the middle, I feel. We're going to delete these because I forgot these would be for exhibit animals instead. And what we're going to do I think is boom. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to ecological restoration. that one. And then we're going to do here, we're going to scroll all the way down to the green. Iguana. I'm going to duplicate this a couple of times. And instead of the green iguana, we're going to go yellow anaconda, because that gets the yellow anaconda going. Oop, I didn't put one over here, so we're going to duplicate. Do-do. Okay, so let's see. Tropical plants. I would say let's go with those two for now, and we'll see how they fit with the others. A long, wide trunk, but it's almost straight vertical. Thin, smooth branch, or thin, long log. I like thin, smooth branch the best. So high basking lamp is here. There's a mid there, and a low there, I guess. Or mid there. And it's just outside of what they prefer. So we'll lower it down a bit. They want more humidity. So that should fix that. And so far, that's what we got. We're going to put that there. We're going to put... I'm going to delete these monitors because they don't do anything. Okay, so now here comes the question. We're going to get off of that because that strobe effect gets slightly annoying. We're going to do South America, any type exhibit. We're looking for good old Pantanal, boys and girls. So let's see. Boa constrictor would be cool, but we already have the anaconda. We could do the Titan beetle, but I don't know if the Titan... Where's your range? So yeah, the Pantanal is about this south side chunk of Brazil. So let's see what we can find. Because like this guy does not live in that region. He lives in Central and North America. So we're not going to put him. Interesting. I didn't realize you could tie those in with America. Okay, fair enough. Green iguana makes sense. Present. Nope. Nope. Brazilian wandering spider. So, boa constrictor and Brazilian wandering spider. I do apologize to anyone with arachnophobia. Arachnophobia warning ahead. I'm putting a message in chat. I have notifications. Okay, so let's go find a boa constrictor. Actually, we're going to unpause so our visitors can start filtering in. Now, is this a smart decision? Probably not. But visitors can come in and they can deem as they do fit. We're also going to put a small little donation bin in the middle. Just feels the most practical. So animal exhibit trading. We need boa constrictors. We're gonna buy a female first. Salmon pink Brazilian wandering spider. Ooh, that's a good female and a good male. Here. This is how we're going to solve this. Oh no, my zookeepers can't get here. Animal trading, exhibit trading. Let's see if we have another good boa constrictor. We don't. So we'll just pick up Alfredo because Alfredo is inherently the best name. Another thing I need to figure out at some point, but I have not yet. Apologies. We're getting into the boa constrictor. I don't even remember what I was saying. Trying to get back in there took my attention away. Gifts. So like, you know, if you pay attention to the stream and you build up all them points. Here we'll do the long wide trunk for you guys. And a high basking lamp over here for you guys. We're gonna call the habitat boa. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Boa constrictor. Oh, I'm going fast forward speed. Whoopsies. Okay, so we're gonna get you a thin, smooth branch, I think makes the most sense. A good hollow log for you to sit in. And we need to get the temperature down. Because it's just a little too hot for you guys. Well, that's fine. You're allowed to have temperature preferences. Okay, so we got the reptile house done. There's allegedly 2 spiders in here somewhere of the Brazilian wandering variety, which aren't reptiles. I know this much. But the majority of the animals are reptiles, and the other ones that we had from the area didn't quite fit. Oh, it's because you're on the corner of the glass. Oh, that's a little spooky. Cool. Apologies to those who are concerned about spiders. We shouldn't have to come back in here for a bit. I probably should have said the same thing about snakes, to be fair, but like... Oh, that would be why my staff couldn't get to it. And why the guests haven't swarmed me yet. Where's the overpath that I use? Herringbone. Oh, undo. Whoopsies. So as you can see, people think our reptiles are sick as hell. Because, yeah. They've been staring at the flamingos long enough, there's finally variety. And they're like, ah, yes. They are very happy. Okay, so let's see. Boom, boom, boom. Construction. We're gonna build a little sign real quick. I think. Next. See, because I thought they'd be like all over the restaurant, but no, they were like, how many people can we physically cram into a building? Guests think the tickets are underpriced. Well, I didn't want to charge. Huge amounts. I didn't want to charge huge amounts of money for anything, but like you guys. Swarm. So I suppose let's get some South American plants going here. Let's get rid of the North America, actually. Get some planting going. And what I find common... Okay, we need to get the land to surface off because we're not building buildings right now. Boop. Reeds tend to be a very good visual blocker. They're nice and ornamental at times, but they're not, like, terribly distracting. You know what I mean? Like, it's cool. This is an area that doesn't need visitors to see it. So if you're walking from the paths, you're like, oh, okay, there's something, you know, they got stuff here, but it's, you know, it's fairly obscured. And that allows you to plant prettier things up front. Like maybe we don't need them completely surrounding that tree. Oh, you're poking into the building. We'll just delete you for now. Oh, I saw grass in the search bar. That's why I couldn't find anything. Like, what's going on? There's more than this. I know there's more than this. And one thing I think I am going to do is delete a section of blocks. Not that many sections of blocks, though. We're gonna just quietly delete all them signs. Didn't like me trying to select most. Was delete. And delete. Not enough. Too many. Okie dokie. Come on, game. Come on. What are my guests saying? I wish I knew. I don't, but I wish I did. Well, here's what we're going to do now while we're waiting. We are going to build a cool little sign for the Pantanal section, I think. So I think what we're going to do, we're going to take this mossy rock. Sink it into the earth a little bit so it looks almost like a kid could climb on it. We're going to advance move it out of the trash can. And then I think what we're going to do is we're going to construction. And I think we're going to try to spell Viva Pantanal. And if we can put a statue of a creator there, that'd be kind of cool. Duplicate. Many guests think tickets are overpriced. Yes, people were really excited for the reptile house. We made sure that people could go see the reptile house. I don't know what you're worried about. This font might just be too big for what I'm thinking. We'll hide it under a bush. That's fine. We'll find something to hide it. But yeah, I think we're starting to see the... We're not quite hitting it in the way I thought we would hit it, but we are starting to get there. I'll grab the end real quick. Pantanal. I grabbed the T. But yeah, just kind of vibing, working on it. Visitors are upset about the price. That's fine. We will fix that. The best part is that I can just go duplicate, or I can do advanced duplicate. Advanced duplicate. Duplicate, or duplicate and advanced move, Pantanal. Then I just have to grab the L and bounce those V's back. We should be good. Here, you know what? I will do that real quick. That's advanced duplicate. We just need to advance move. Duplicate. Viva Pantanal. I like that. I think what we're going to do is... And then rotate. I will try to put a statue there. Let's see, what statues do I even have for animals? So the scale should be fine. Let's see, Siberian Tiger's definitely not an animal people will see here. Shivalki's horse, Kiwi, Indian rhinoceros. Greater flamingo could be a possibility, but we got the American flamingo, so that's fine. So I think we should just dunk this in some foliage and call it good. I think that is a fantastic little sign for what should be the start of a wonderful little area. And I hope you agree, viewers. All one of you. Just doing a quick check. So looks like we got a new follower. That's cool. The eventual goal is to get along and see what we can't get done. This might be it for today, because I did say I think I was going to stop at 3. Let's see. Creator dashboard. But I think overall, yeah, that's looking very nice. I do want to quickly, because I can always, listen, it's always good to have a project to come back to. That way it's like, okay, I can't just abandon this. And it might be kind of ironic to put the bathrooms right by the front entrance. But I think having a building here in this front section would just make a good amount of sense. So we're just going to build one here real quick. And then we'll go see who's streaming and needs to have a raid happen. Because, like, I think that's genuinely one of my favorite parts about Twitch, is that even if you're new, even if you've got one streamer and one person watching, you know, you still can just go, hey, I'm going to go raid somebody else. And it makes somebody else's day. I think we're going to color this a nice blue. Maybe not that dark of a blue, but... And we're just going to move these walls in real quick. Okay, so we got a quick little restroom built. Viva Pantanal. Looks like it's starting off fantastic. Calendar. View the schedule. I don't remember if I said 3 or 4. I'm pretty sure I said 3. If I put 4, I will run till 4. But it did say 3, so it's about time for us to go say hi to somebody else. Let's see, who should we raid now? Is anyone else in that? No one's streaming in that room from what I can see. Oh, let's see if we can raid J Kiwi Fruit. Okay, so we're gonna head over. We're just gonna go get started. We're gonna go raid. It's Jay's birthday, so we should be able to go over and say hello. And happy birthday. Well, I thought they were streaming. They're not streaming. Oopsies. So we're going, got it. /raid. We're going to stop streaming.